So could you use you need a second person, but put the knee, be pressing the knee in valgus a little bit while you do the backswing?
You could do that, or you could just use an external cue. What I do quite a bit for, you want to grab like a lineman stick or even that blue, whatever it is, anything, and just come over here and go behind him there. Just stick it on the inside of his left knee. Yeah, there you go. So don't touch that club. Just give him a little leeway. So do a backswing and don't touch that club. Okay? And then turn through. There you go. He's learning. I'm pulling hard. Go ahead. Turn through. Okay? Good. Again. Turn through. And we go. I want you to get to your heel. So on the way through, I want you to be able to point this club at the window back there, the club head, and try to get, you're going to push off your toe obviously, but I want you to get to your heel eventually. Go ahead. Okay, you can get your heel. Okay. No. There you go. That's better. Get off the trail side. Go. Okay, one more. Go. No, gotta do a couple more. That wasn't quite it. Nope. Okay. One more. Okay. You can still lift this heel off the ground. You're big at that, so this heel.
Yes.
But with the heel coming off the ground, I want you to try to, instead of like collapsing in, and just try to push that toe in the ground when you lift the heel off the ground. So it's like kind of more of that feel. The knee, don't worry about the knee. I think that'll be too much of a change for right now. Just try to keep a little more pressure on your left toe when you lift the heel up, and then just feel that good feel. Let's see what happens. We'll see.
Nope, that wasn't good.
Oh, the path just went way to the right, so that was interesting. That's what happens in different human brains. You never know.
So we established he's human. We made progress, Chris.
Okay. Do one more. You get 3 tries or something. So he's gone back to 22. 22 stance width. Try it again with a little narrower. Can I see those ones? All right. 2 in was probably. Okay, so we're at 93 torque. What was it before?
When we were first starting, it was 102.
Your torque was?
Yeah.
What was it just now? Where were the ones that we were hitting before? That's the test. This was the narrow stance. 86, so it's more than that, okay. But it was 102 this morning. We didn't save those ones, did we?
No,
Yeah, they're not done.
What's that?
They're not done.
The
It
ones
says that
from
they were
this
saved. I didn't know how to delete it, so
Where,
it just says this will be stored in Explorer.
so we're under you, oh, that's why it's there, okay. Where's the,
Give Explorer one more click and then check for it.
where did we go? Oh, there it is. So this is today.
Yeah.
This would have been the first swing you're taking, right?
It's got the time on the floor. Yeah.
Here, you want to oh, that's
Those would be
check.
wedges.
Yeah.
So it would be,
The last one you did?
would have been into
Yes.
9, 11, 9, 12, 6.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Interesting. All right, hit a few more. I want to see, do the narrow stance and feel that toward cue.
Narrow stance and still knee coming forward instead of side.
Yeah. So. Okay.
That's what I felt when we were doing the stack and tilt stuff, was this. I feel like I'm not getting my weight back onto the right side at all on the takeaway.
Yeah. Not everybody needs to get their weight back on the right side.
Because your horizontal wasn't awesome, right?
But there was a lot of it, right?
There was a lot of it.
It was my strongest force.
Yeah. The vertical came up a little bit. Let's see what the pressure shift was. And this is where, I mean, obviously you have to, I mean, every time I do this, I look at the face after the shot. And the face here is not liking this. Which is fine, because like.
Fuck that guy.
No.
You want to make money or not?
Well, and this is where, like, you know, when he goes to golf, like, it's not me who's going to the golf course, he has to go to the golf course, and he has to trust this. So, this is moving towards a much more left leg dominant swing, which is, we weren't very good off your left foot either, right? 'Cause
No.
now vertical's jumping up, and that's a left leg dominant pressure shift, so you're almost overdoing it.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is where I would start to do the Goldilocks stuff with them. So the too much, too little. So this I would say is very left leg dominant swing. So now give me your old one. Go wide, collapse the knee in, almost touch the knees. Give me a Bubba Watson. Okay. There it is, big hooky. Yeah, okay. Now give me halfway in between those two. So wide, knee like, so you had wide, Bubba Watson, you had narrow stack. So give me halfway in between in terms of stance width and knee.
A knee forward or knee in? Knee
Well,
collapse.
so halfway between knee forward and knee in. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
How do you feel, Chris?
Center of the face.
Yeah. I think that's where you're going to live, halfway in between. Because that would be a very centered pattern. Oh. So even when you were, wow, 98, that was the last one?
Yeah, 199.7.
Oh, well, look at the pressure shift. This was
Yeah.
2 things ago. Interesting. So your halfway in between was actually way more right side dominant than your right side dominant swing. Okay. Let's do it again. Start with stack.
You're good.
Do the left side, knee towards the ball, stack on the left with a narrow stance.
Little toey.
Okay.
Not much though.
Can I ask a question about that one?
Sure.
In the horizontal, I dick around with the toe heel.
Yeah.
Usually when nobody's around, because I'm petrified somebody's going to ask me a question about it.
Yeah.
Do you know? Well, obviously, you know something about it. Can you explain that to me? Because I'm just watching his, and it seems visually that he's. And I was watching the pressure cast as he was doing in the backswing. He doesn't seem to load into the heel much at all,
Right.
which is fine. But
doesn't.
okay, but can you take me through this like I'm
This?
4 years old?
On a single plate, I don't look at this too often.
Okay.
Partially because on the dual plates I look at this all the time, but on the single plates I don't, because if you get to like the top of the backswing, we know that his trail foot, like as he starts to make transition, is actually pulling backwards away from the ball, and
Yeah.
the lead foot is pushing towards the ball.
Yeah.
So this is the difference between these two. And most of the time, in a lot of people, this is like a flat line. There's like nothing
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
And that's why the pattern of when this peaks and where it peaks is like, I've seen people have a negative spike right around here where he has a positive spike. Oh, that's after the ball's gone. And so this, I actually never ever look at this graph
Okay.
when it is a single plate.
Okay.
When you have the dual plate and there's only one foot on there, then it makes sense. Because like, these two things are canceling each other out when I have both
Right.
feet on the same plate, and it almost measures nothing.
Okay.
It should, I mean, if you
But-
have a very centered swing, it should measure nothing.
Right, and so if these two are half-assed equal, that will be a flat line?
Yeah.
Okay, I got that.
Yeah.
Okay,
And so that's why I don't even look at this graph on a single plate,
yeah,
because it's pretty, I don't know, it doesn't help me anything.
okay.
So I
And when you use that data a lot when you're using the dual plate?
Yeah.
Like,
That,
is a dual plate something that I shouldn't?
Why do you ask, Ed?
Because
the,
I have a friend that's doing that, maybe I can trade this in and get it upgraded. See, that's how he said it was okay to go with a single plate.
No, I think
That's why I asked the question.
I mean, I think I've had the dual plate now since, I don't remember when I get, probably like November, October-ish. And I'm just kind of starting to get my head around using it. But when I teach, like when some guy calls me and says I need you to look at my swing, I use the dual plate and single plate more. The dual information is, like after the guy leaves, I dig into it. I'm like, okay, let me figure out what's going on here. But when the person's in front of me, I don't really know how to use it because there's no tour averages yet for the single forces.
So it's not digestible for a lesson for me?
Yeah, I don't think so, not yet.
Yeah.
And that's why when you guys called me, I was like, this is an unbelievable way to start.
Yeah.
And we do have a bunch of people trading these in for duels, so we have like a trade-in program where you.
Once
but-
it's up and running, if you call and say, hey Ken, you can see the placement.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey Ken, you should have the dual plate. It'll
Yeah.
be a quick phone.
Yeah, and that, I would say, I don't know, like we just were at the players getting dual plate tour average data or tour data, and so we have, I don't know, 10 or 12 players on it. I think once we get to like 30 or 40 or 50 tour players on it, I can calculate the tour averages and kind of understand how much flat is a little. That will probably take us another, I don't know,
You're gonna get coding on that.
year or so, but this is like a great tool for, I mean, because it's kind of like, right, you start with body track, and this is a great upgrade, and I mean, in our duel, we didn't